So the episode starts off and, we get the quick little interviews of Ariana, Tom saying, are you ready?
Great editing, by the way.
They're not ready. And then Sheena basically saying what happened that day where they were here. They were in our studio, recorded with us, left, went to watch what happens live. And Raquel picked Sandoval over Schwartz in the little game. And Ariana called Raquel, and Raquel went up to Sheena, and Sheena said it like this. She said, she just came out to me and goes, yeah, so me and Sandoval have been having an affair for 7 months. And I could see, after seeing this episode, I can now see how she said it like that, because there is no remorse. There is zero remorse coming from Raquel and Tom. Tom showed more remorse to everybody else besides Ariana, but the initial conversation we see between Ariana and Tom was despicable. Ariana ate him up.
Yeah.
She had like everything ready to say back to him. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, I lost my mojo. And she goes, oh, so you fucked my best friend. Like, she just, and everything she said back to him was so perfect, because he is such a piece of shit and just couldn't apologize to her and put it all on her and made it seem like, oh, well, you're dumb for not picking up on it. Like, I couldn't believe the conversation that was had between Ariana and Sandoval.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of Sandoval repeating himself. We've heard Sandoval kind of go on this path of like, well, we were so unhappy and we weren't having sex and like you knew that like we weren't in a good place. Like, really felt like putting a lot on Ariana. What she said, she was like, you're really like blaming me for that? Like, what are you doing? And he definitely got a little emotional, but it wasn't really that crazy. Like, I couldn't tell if he was just so nervous to be having that conversation with Ariana right then, or what was going on, because that conversation compared to when he walked into Schwartz's apartment and just like collapsed in his arms and was like, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. And honestly, Schwartz too, like, I'm so done with Schwartz, because even Schwartz's like first thing was like, well, maybe you could like put out a statement about like the
Yelp
business.
reviews. We're going down to 1 star. It's like, why is that the initial thought right now?
I know.
And yes, I mean, Schwartz is an idiot.
Which is what he did, and he did do that.
Yes,
Sandoval did do that.
They're both losers. Like, they have not grown in their life at all. They are just as immature as when they started the show. They have had no growth compared to, I think, like Ariana has grown. Like, I think other people have grown on the show and they have zero growth whatsoever. Tom also showed more remorse to Lisa Vanderpump when he walked in and he completely broke down in her house and he's up against the window. And it's just like, really the most shocking besides Tom just not being sorry to Ariana at all. And it's like, you've lived with this person, have dated this person for 10 years and this is going to be, and you go, we've had some good times. Like, what are you saying right now? I genuinely don't know how she was so composed, Ariana, because she really was and was really great with her words towards him, because I think she really hit those points. But I think the most shocking thing of the episode was watching Raquel and Tom Sandoval. First of all, Sandoval walks in her apartment. The dog knows him very well. The dog is jumping up and down, very happy to see him there. And they are having such an uncomfortable conversation, and Raquel is smiling the whole time, and he says,
I thought they were gonna start making out.
Yeah, and they're talking about,
like, we can't kiss, not with the cameras.
I know, we can't do it. And then they're talking about the families, and
oh god,
and Tom says they love you, and Raquel goes, I love you too, and Tom's like, oh no, I said they love you, but like I love you. I was like, what is happening? So and then when he called her Ariana, I was like, oh my god, and she was just like, you just called me Ariana. I'm like, how is she? Genuinely, there's something wrong with the two of them. There has to be something wrong with them, because there is no way that you could just sit there and act like that.
She's like,
that's supposed to be her best friend.
Some lifeless eyes situations going on with her, like behind the eyes, it's like, what's going on?
It's supposed to be her best friend.
Yeah.
Ariana has called her best friend multiple times. How are you just sitting there smiling?
You know what's crazy is that obviously they filmed that scene with Tom and Raquel. And then afterwards, they were like, after we filmed this scene, Raquel turned off her phone, disappeared. We didn't hear from her. Like, there was no, of course we'll get it in the reunion, but there was no and maybe they were saving it for the reunion, but no like initial conversation between Ariana and Raquel. Like I thought maybe we would see them talk, but I'm guessing she filmed that scene and then maybe was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if she even has the capacity to think back and be like, what did I just do? But the way she was speaking to him and the way they both were kind of like, damn, shit happens.
They were laughing. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. Like, you know, none of it excuses it at all.
Such a friend.
But I think that if they were like...
Such a deep friendship, Sandoval. Such a good friend.
Right. Like, clearly you were just horny, Sandoval. Like, that's what happened. You were horny and you felt something which was, I don't know, like a boner, and you're like mistaking it because...
Ariana said it to him too. Like, she was getting that, like...
Satisfaction
of like this girl fangirling over him.
Right.
And
Ariana was like, I've been with you through the beginning. Like, you just want somebody. And he's like, it's not because of that, but I truly believe it is attention. Because of that. Because of
solely attention.
And I, not that anybody would ever be on their side because what they did is just awful. But if they like cried their eyes out and they were like, I'm so sorry. Like, I think more people would be like, okay, they clearly feel bad. They fucked up. But at least, like, there's no at least, but people would be like, they're sobbing and they're in a bad... Them just laughing while they're hanging out was actually insanity. Like, I could not grasp. And you know what? I felt it watching last week's episode when Raquel was talking to Katie's mom. And I was like, that is so fucking disrespectful to talk to somebody's mom the way she did. And I was like, oh no. I was like, it's going to be as bad as we think. This episode is going to be worse than you could imagine, I think. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Seriously, the conversation between the two of them was concerning. Like, it genuinely was worrisome.
I do kind of think that in the moment of them filming that conversation, that they felt like they were really gonna try to be together. You know, because I do think like the way they framed Raquel kind of disappeared, whatever, what the discussions, they maybe weren't really talking. And then we know from interviews that they done that it was like, felt kind of weird. Like, it was like, oh, at first they were trying to sell the story of like they love each other and this is meant to be kind of thing. And then it kind of turned into like, oh, now we're taking our own space and time. And so I feel like in that moment in their minds, it was like, all right, well, we're going to talk and act like this is the beginning steps of where our relationship could go.